When this girl's belly wouldn't stop growing, doctors realized she had to get to hospital fast. The other children would point and giggle, and all the while the young girl could hear the whispers and rumors about her at high school. But what they're saying isn't true. And as for her appearance, she just can't understand why she looks the way she does. It is a truly turbulent time in her life. This was the reality for one young American woman who experienced the pain of teenage bullying as a result of an undiagnosed health complaint. In a poignant YouTube video, Katie Smith revealed the impact her life-threatening issue had had on her life, as well as the suffering, both physical and mental, that she experienced. Now, Smith was in the 8th grade when she became the victim of callous name-calling because of her large belly. Those early teen years are difficult to navigate at the best of times. But for a young girl who was sensitive about the way she looked, the hurtful comments and sniggers made her life a living hell. For one thing, Smith just couldn't understand why her belly had grown to the size it had. But additionally, it was continuing to grow, putting more and more pressure on her back as the weight in her stomach increased. And, inevitably, the increase in Smith's size only made the comments aimed at the schoolgirl that much more hurtful. Smith couldn't exactly identify when her medical issues started, but before long, she began to notice that her stomach was getting bigger. Unfortunately, as it did, it only further fueled rumors that had begun to develop around the school and her town that the young girl was pregnant. In reality, there was no proof to these claims other than the increasing size of her abdomen. According to Smith herself, her school forced her to take a pregnancy test. And as humiliating and confusing as that was for the then 14-year-old, it potentially saved her life. Summer was approaching at the time, and Smith was glad that the nightmarish school year was nearly over. So school closed on June 18th, and just 3 days later Smith was booked in for a checkup that had been mandated by her school. According to Smith, the school had acted in that manner after being criticized by parents who didn't think it was right for a pregnant girl to be in the 8th grade. As Smith knew would be the case, the pregnancy test came back negative. But that still didn't explain the unusual symptoms that she'd been experiencing in the months leading up to the end of school. Recounting her ordeal later on, Smith stated, "I was 14. I didn't know what the hell it was. I literally thought that I had an alien in my stomach." As well as the enforced pregnancy test, Smith also took tests for diabetes. Fortunately, the schoolgirl's mother was unhappy with the inconclusive results of the tests and insisted that her daughter have an X-ray. So what was it that had been causing her all of these sinister symptoms? And what were those symptoms exactly? Well, the first and most obvious was significant weight gain. According to the teenager, she gained 50 pounds in just 5 months. Of course, that didn't go unnoticed, either by Smith or by others. "I thought I was gaining weight, but I didn't know what to think," the teen later wrote. Yet her increasing weight wasn't the only issue that Smith was experiencing. There was pain too. "Usually, before I would have this really bad pain where I couldn't even move at all, and back pains," the young girl later wrote after posting a video of her ordeal on YouTube. Touchingly, it was a video that attracted a lot of attention and messages of support. As bad as the pain was, nothing could compete with the incredible rate of growth of whatever it was inside the teen's belly. Over a period of 3 months it grew rapidly, according to Smith. "I noticed when I lied down something popped out of my stomach and it crushed basically all my organs and made me pee like crazy." So Smith's health was deteriorating for unknown reasons, and her school and peer group were only compounding the situation. However, the X-ray that her mother ordered was to provide the answers that the schoolgirl, and indeed everyone, was looking for. Yet the initial news was shocking to say the least. You see, the tests revealed the truth behind Smith's incredible weight gain and expanding tummy. And it was down to a cyst which had now reached epic proportions. Furthermore, it was placing the girl in significant danger. "When I got the test done, my doctor called my mom and told her the worst news ever, that I was going to die and I would never make it through high school if the cyst was solid." Sadly, Smith now faced a new reality. And further tests were performed on the teen to reveal the nature of the cyst and to confirm its size. On the one hand, the news was to be positive, yet on the other, these tests revealed the incredible truth about what had been happening in Smith's belly. So what is a cyst? According to the Medical News Today website, cysts are closed capsular sac-like structures, typically filled with liquid, semi-solid, or gaseous material, very much like a blister. Also, cysts can form in the tissue of any body part. In Smith's case, the cyst had formed on her ovary. As the Medical News Today website explains, cysts vary in size from microscopic to the size of some team sport balls. Smith's cyst was very much in the latter category. And the pressure that it was potentially placing on her internal organs was a concern to doctors. Also, Smith reported that her doctors were concerned that the cyst might prove to be solid, which would have seriously endangered her life. But there was good news. The cyst was liquid and could be operated on immediately. Fortunately, it wasn't cancerous either. However, the medics did explain to Smith why her tummy had expanded so rapidly. They basically told me it was like a tumor. That's why it grew fast, Smith wrote. But it wasn't just the rate of growth of the cyst that was staggering. You see, cysts can grow to incredible sizes. As the Medical News Today website reports, they can be the size of a team sports ball. And as we know, there are many types of team sports balls. Indeed, some cysts have been as big as basketballs. But it is not only the size that is debilitating. Cysts have also been reported to weigh as much as common gym medicine balls, which typically clock in at over 55 pounds. For instance, in 2018 the BBC reported on a young woman in Swansea, Wales, who had a giant tumor in her stomach. In many ways, the story paralleled that of Smith in the United States. Despite multiple negative pregnancy tests, doctors insisted Keely Favell must be pregnant as her stomach grew in size, the BBC stated. Now, Favell herself knew that she wasn't pregnant, but that wouldn't stop people asking her when her baby was due. Unlike Smith, Favell was a fully grown woman in her 20s, so she could just play along and avoid the external embarrassment that the schoolgirl had encountered. But she could only really explain her own situation by convincing herself that she was just fat. However, this wasn't the case. And eventually Favell saw a consultant who was able to examine her and reveal the truth. I'll never forget the look of shock on his face when the consultant examined me. He said I had a large ovarian mass, and the only option was surgery. He couldn't say what it was exactly or how big, Favell recalled to the BBC. So Favell was booked in for surgery to remove the cyst, and once it had been taken out, medics were able to ascertain the true size of the growth. Unbelievably, it was revealed to be 26 kilograms. The weight of a 7 or 8-year-old child or 7 average-sized newborn babies, reported the BBC. Of course, 26 kilograms is over 57 pounds, roughly the weight of a medicine ball. In another case, Women's Health reported in June 2018 that a 30-year-old Alabama woman, Kayla Ron, had had a 50-pound ovarian cyst removed. As with Smith and Favell, Ron had suffered from stomach pain and unexplained weight gain for months preceding the discovery. However, Smith's case differed from both Favell and Ron. For the sheer size of Smith's cyst staggered everybody, not least Smith herself. While both Favell and Ron's cysts had measured in at around 50 pounds, the growth inside Smith was an incredible 100 pounds. To put that into context, that is the average weight of a 13-year-old boy. Bravely, Smith decided to post a video about her cyst and the medical procedure to remove it on YouTube. Throughout that video, which features a montage of photographs before, during and after the life-threatening operation, the song Please Remember by LeAnn Rimes plays. It is a poignant and moving watch. At the beginning of the video, a message displays across the screen, "This is a video about my 100 pounds ovarian cyst surgery." Then Smith warns viewers that some of the images are graphic in nature and unsuitable for children. After that, the story begins with more text. On July 3, 2007, I went to the Children's Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts, it states. Smith then recounts the serious nature of the procedure she was facing. Doctors were flown in from all over the country to perform my 7-hour surgery that a doctor told me I may not live through, she writes. Following this, the team posted pictures of her belly leading up to the discovery that it was actually an ovarian cyst. She also highlighted the stretch marks on her stomach. In fact, 2 pictures flash up that show the sheer size of the cyst itself. And one of the many comments under Smith's YouTube video focused on that fact. Until I saw this video, the largest cyst I've ever heard about or seen was about 1 pound. I didn't believe one could grow that big until today, I read the message. Under her YouTube video, the team posted various comments that provided more detail regarding her experience. Some of the comments were insights into her suffering or her operation, while others were to thank those who had supported her on her journey. To add to that, the teen left thanks for the messages of support she had received from elsewhere. Particularly revealing were the details of Smith's recovery after the 7-hour operation. The first revelation was something that served as a reminder of Smith's tender age at the time of her surgery. At first, when I was starting to wake up, I couldn't talk, so they kept giving me cherry popsicles. That's the only ones I wanted, but they kept melting cause I kept falling asleep, she wrote. Slowly but surely, Smith began to recover. I lifted the sheets and was legit wicked happy. I had to eat like popsicles and pudding for a couple of days, cause my stomach couldn't handle regular food just yet. I would always try to eat it but ended up throwing up. I remember it like it was yesterday. I ate popsicles and pudding, then chicken nuggets and a roll with mashed potatoes, she wrote. One further comment was particularly revealing. I laughed cause I felt my ribs, Smith said. It was a moment that truly captured what the teen had been through. Indeed, for so long her life had been made miserable by bullies. Because of this cyst I've been picked on for years and being an innocent victim of society where I was always the fat girl that no one liked, she wrote. Ultimately, Smith's surgery was a success and her life was no longer in danger. But sadly, there were elements to the tale that could never be made right. For one, the bullying and victimization Smith had experienced could never be undone, even if she could get over it with time. Another sadder element of Smith's experience has been the effect the cyst has had on the chance of her having children. You see, Smith replied to one particular comment from someone who also had an ovary cyst. And she said, "They are most likely not going to have to take out your whole ovary, because they took out 2/3 of mine and my fallopian tube, but it all varies on how much it covers your ovary." And Smith was candid about her ability to conceive. "Sure, it's going to be hard to get pregnant. For me it's going to be very hard, but I was planning on adopting. Remember to keep your options open if you can't get pregnant," Smith wrote, revealing a maturity beyond her years. Towards the end of her YouTube video, the teenager left her audience with a set of poignant messages aimed at helping those in need. As well as a rally to stop bullying, Smith's message was also a heartfelt call to be vigilant with one's health. "Before I got the cyst taken out, when I laid down something the size of a football popped out," the teen wrote. Smith continued the message. "After I took a bit of something I would get very sick, and my school also thought I was pregnant when I was not. If you have anything popping from your stomach and you know you're not pregnant, please go see your doctor, because you could be the next innocent victim of something you can't control," she finished. So the young woman's overriding motivation had been to raise awareness. And frequently in the video's comment section she had advised people to get a complaint checked out. It took an amazing leap of bravery, but we should be thankful to Smith for highlighting health implications of this kind. And there is happiness to be taken from the tale too. For you see, in 2017 a largely quiet Smith suddenly posted a new message in the video's comment section. There, she revealed some terrific news. She said, "It's been 10 years since my surgery, and I'm going to be doing an update video soon, but on my new page. A lot has happened since the surgery. I got married to the love of my life,